Speaking of faster, life getting faster, I'm sure another influential movie was Goodfellas, Scorsese. That's faster, right?
Yes.
A mixture of crime and humor.
And almost like an open world game in some ways, in that it's this slice of life. You see, I think that probably changed cinema at the sort of tail end of the 80s, early 90s, more than any other film. And it's so iconic. In some ways, I prefer Casino, but the invention is really in Goodfellas. I love the end of Casino. The use of voiceover, the way you saw them being criminals and being normal people. It changed everything. I mean, The Sopranos obviously is completely inspired by Goodfellas.
Yeah, Casino has, first of all, the character of Sharon Stone. I mean, everything.
The look, the clothes,
Yeah.
the music.
I would say one of the most memorable moments in film for me is the meeting in the desert. I mean, it's just the drama building up to that.
Dig another hole.
Yeah. The environment, the city, speaking of open world and creating a character from the city.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the great Vegas films.
I think the great Vegas film. The bits that I love at the end when everything's wrapping up. And on the one hand, you see the Robert De Niro character. He's still good at making money, so they let him return to normal life. But then you get that brilliant scene when all of the mob bosses from back home, they're discussing all these people who may or may not be able to implicate them. And then there's that incredibly cold line where one of them, they're thinking about the old, I think it's the casino manager, and one of them just goes, the way I see it, why take a chance? And then the next thing he's just shot. Right? The brutality of it all is just brilliant.
I don't know. I probably have to disagree with you on Vegas. There's at least some competitors. You got with Nicolas Cage leaving Las Vegas. I mean, falling in love with a prostitute. You're also you've written some of the great crime stories ever.
Thank you.
And in some sense, there's love stories in there. And you've talked about being a bit of a romantic yourself. Appreciating the depth of love stories in literature, at the very least. And there is a dark kind of love story between an alcoholic and a prostitute. He got an Oscar for that.
I think he did for that, didn't he?
Plus, there's the caricature of the drug world of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. That's an interesting one.
I love the book so much. I was obsessed by it when I was about 17, 18.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed the film, but I preferred the book.
Has a Hunter S. Thompson type of character ever made it into any of your stories?
No, but one of the things we're working on now, there's sort of an English version of Hunter S. Thompson if he was also a market gardener. I love that persona. But he's it's hard. If you make him American, it's hard for it not just to be Hunter S. Thompson.
Is this an American caper?
No, it's in this animated show we're developing in this sort of comedy world we're working on called Absurtoverse. And it's in one of the stories in that.
What is Absurtoverse?
Absurtoverse is a comedy universe we're developing that will be an open world video game and then some loosely adjacent stories that we're going to make as animated TV shows or possibly animated movies. We're still thinking that all through. And we're building the game up in San Rafael at the moment. And it's early days, but it's looking very exciting. And it's trying to make a game that feels a little bit like a living sitcom.
Is there some drama and tragedy at the edges, or is it pure comedy?
I hope it's got comedy, cynicism, heart, drama, and some amusing life lessons. Otherwise, you can't just have jokes for 40 hours. It won't work.
Okay, so comedy needs some darkness.
Well, I think it needs story. One of my favorite comedies of this century is The Office, because it was incredibly funny, but also because it had narrative and heart underneath the cynicism. I think with narrative, you get a drive alongside jokes.
And there's going to be an open world video game in that world.
Yes.
When?
2, 3, 4 years, still thinking that through.
So what's the process of getting from the idea to the end of a video game? Why does it take so long to get it right?
That's an interesting question. I think the scale at which they're built, you could argue it the other way. Why is it so quick? I mean, you really are building in one go a world, a city, and 40 hours of entertainment cut through it. These things are massive 4-dimensional mosaics that are intensely complicated and have to work in lots of different ways. And I think that's us being kind of aggressive on the timeline.